Hello mathematicians, this is the video for home connections 71 and 72. We need to put these numbers in order from least to greatest, which is of course from smallest to largest. And the first one has been done for us, 89,776. All of these numbers go up to the 10,000s place. So I'm going to start by just looking at the first two numbers. So we started with 89,000. I know that 90,000 would come next. 90,089. After that would come 91,000, and I see two of them start with 91, so I now need to look at the hundreds place. 91,438 or 91,204. A 2 would come first. 91,204. Then 91,438. After 91,000 would be, let's see, 93,102. After 93, I see a 95. 95,004. And finally, the biggest one would be 99,173. Okay, moving on. Number 2. Look at the following numbers. Circle the number that is closest to 60,034. 60,034 is between these two numbers. It's only 34 away from this one, and it's more like, oh gosh, 60 some, right? 66 away from this one. So it's closer to 60,000. Number 3, circle the number closest to 194,321. Let's see, 194,000 and 195,000. It's somewhere between those two, and it's only 300 away or so from that one, and it's more like 600-ish away from the other one. Okay, number 4, circle the number closest to 233,904. It's somewhere between 233 and 234. This 9 tells me that it's closer to the bigger number. Number 5, circle the number closest to 234,900,032. It's between 234 million and 235 million. And again, that 9 tells us it's closer to the bigger number. On to page 72. Number 6 says round each of the numbers below to the nearest 100. Use the number line to help if you would like. So you don't have to do anything with the number line, but sometimes if you're confused, putting a point on the number line can tell you which one it's closer to. For example, 567. I know that 567 is between 500 and 600. 550 would be right in the middle, so 567 is probably like right here. And you can tell that that star is closer to 600, not 500. So that's a way you could use the number line if you wanted to. But you also could say, I'm rounding to the nearest 100, so I'm going to look at the digit that comes after. It's a 6. A 6 tells us to bump, bump, bump it up. Bump that 5 up to a 6. Everything else becomes a 0. 717, rounded to the nearest 100. Look at the digit that comes after. It's a 1. A 1 tells us to keep it the same. Keep it a 7, make everything else a 0. 889, rounded to the nearest 100. Look at the digit that comes after. It's an 8. An 8 tells us to bump, bump, bump it up. Bump it up to a 9. Everything else becomes a 0. 450 is right smack in the middle of 400 and 500. So it's technically not closer to either, but hundreds of years ago, mathematicians decided if it's a 5, round up. So a 5 tells us to bump, bump, bump it up. 649. If I round to the nearest 100, I need to look at what comes after. It's a 4. A 4 tells us to keep it the same. And finally, 905. It's awfully close to 900, and that's what that 0 tells us. That 0 tells us to keep it the same, or keep it a 9, and make everything else a 0. When you're rounding to the nearest 100, everything after the hundreds place will be a 0. Now we're going to round each of the numbers to the nearest 1,000. We can use the number line if we need to. So rounding to the nearest 1,000, 4,903. Look after the thousands place, and it's a 9. A 9 tells us to bump it up. 5,099. Look at the thousands place, and what comes right after it is a 0. A 0 tells us to keep it the same. 9,499. If I round to the nearest 1,000, I need to look at the number that comes after. A 4 tells us to keep it the same, or keep it a 9. Down below, 7,500. Rounding to the nearest 1,000, I see a 5. A 5 tells us to bump it up. Again, 7,500 is really not closer to either of them, 7,000 or 8,000, but mathematicians decided if it's right smack in the middle, round up. 8,750. Rounding to the nearest 1,000 means I have to look at the hundreds place, and that 7 tells me to bump it up. And the last one, 6,138. Look at that 1, and that 1 tells us to keep it the same, or keep it a 6. Number 8. Amanda is sure she got the high score on a video game, but she's not sure what the number is. Please write it down for her using base 10 numbers. I do not like that they said base 10 numbers. A lot of kids were thinking, do I have to draw base 10 blocks? Base 10 numbers just means write it in the normal way, write it in the standard way, write it just as numbers. So they wrote it in words, we're going to write it in numbers. 943 million. Chunk it up. Can you write 943? Yeah, 943. The word million is where we put our comma. 261. I can write that. The word thousand is where we put our comma. 586. So chunk up those big numbers to make it easier to write. Caleb is positive he beat Amanda's score. His score was 925,298,199. Who got the higher score? How do you know? So, what's her name? Amanda? I scrolled down too far. Amanda, yep. Amanda is more. Amanda won because, let's see, 943 versus 900. I might say 943 million, right? That's about what she got, is more than 925 million. So I sort of rounded the numbers, right, to the nearest million, and it made it a little bit easier to tell. 943 is bigger than 925. You could also write down both numbers. There's Amanda's. Right, there's Amanda. And here's Caleb. You can tell that they both go up to the 100 millions place. Let's see. 9 and 9, that's the same. 4 and 2, there's where the difference happens, right? 4 is bigger than 2. So you could look digit by digit as well to tell that Amanda won. All right, here are the answers to 71. Here are the answers to 72. And I will see you in class.